What's up, guys? Mack of All Trades show. Purdue of All Trades, is that what we called it, Dukes? We've got Adam Hutchison in the house. We got Fantasy Dukes, a.k.a. Steve. I don't know if you want me to give out your last name, so up to you. But we are going to be shooting the shit. How are you guys doing today?
Go for it, Adam.
I'm doing great. As far as anyone needs to know, Steve's last name is Rondale Moore. That's all people need to know for his last name.
Yeah, Steve, middle name Dukes, and then last name one word, Rondale Moore.
Awesome.
Adam,
I know you're
out here.
You said you're feeling good, but you were having a rough day, right? You need some time to vent, a little mental health minute.
No, I mean, I don't want to bore the people with my problems. I'm just going to be sipping a beer here. We're going to be talking some football. Hopefully I'll just relax. If you see me getting a little anxious over here, I might blow off a little steam, but yeah, I had one of those days, boys. I had one of those days.
For sure. Well, we are going to be drinking on this episode. It says in the YouTube thumbnail, we're talking pro days today for college prospects, since that's all a buzz on FF Twitter. And we're doing Boilermakers because both Adam and Dukes went to Purdue. So Boilermaker drinks are in order for this. I actually love Boilermakers. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the most extreme like frat version of this, but I will be having some whiskey and some beer. So excited to go around the horn with you guys, talk about that, talk about Dynasty trades as always, and do a little Purdue trivia with you boys as well. So do we want to get right into the Boilermakers, Steve?
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it. Man, this is great. Talking to Boilermakers. Got my boy Adam here. I brought the Duke shades out for this one. Let's get it, boy.
I love it. I've got, in pure contrarian fashion from you guys, I've got my Scotty shirt on. I've brought a bottle of Spotted Cow from Wisconsin. So we're going to crack that open. And I don't have a Wisconsin whiskey, but I do have some Maker's Mark. So got the shot glass. Now, typically, I was asking you guys about this before we started. Like the typical Boilermaker, you just take that shot glass, you throw it right into the pint glass, and essentially chug the whole thing, right? I like the Bullet and Miller Lite, Steve. That's a good combo too.
Yeah, just thought I'd go ahead and show the people out there, the Michael Duncans out there.
Hey, have you had a Boilermaker? But you guys have had Boilermakers before, right? Like I'm not just talking to a wall here.
Since we're on the topic, what was when you guys were in school? I know Duke's answer mostly, but I guess it's more for you, Andrew. What was like the go-to bar, and what was like a drink that was like it couldn't not necessarily be the one that you like always got, but you were like was kind of like a good drink to get at your favorite spot?
Yeah. So my favorite beer in Wisconsin would be Moon Man, which is Nuclearis Brewery. And that's like their No Coast Pale Ale. So I would usually go for that at any place you're at.
I'm talking about Madison. When you were at Madison, what was your
any Madison bar, like that's what I would probably get. But if I'm going beer, but one of my favorite places to go was this place called Plaza. It's, not really one of the big bars on campus. It was kind of like a divier spot, but every Thursday night they had a deal on Long Island iced teas that was basically like $2 a pop. So I'm not normally a Long Island iced tea guy, but
man.
You'd have to do that. You'd have to get the Plaza Burger, which had like cream cheese and pickles on it. That was like the way to go. I've only had the burger a couple of times, but the Long Island iced tea is at $2. It was a travesty on campus when they upped it to $2.50 a pop. So that would be what
college kids.
That's one less Long Island you can have that night, essentially, because you're going from 4 is the cost of 5 or whatever.
Yeah, man. Hey, Adam, I was gonna say we're talking Harry's Chocolate Shop, right?
Oh yeah, okay, absolutely. I just want to make sure. I mean, I knew I could rely on you for best bar. I mean, you weren't gonna let me down with that.
Yeah. The drink though, I'm not exactly sure, but I was always told that you had to have the Green Dragon, so I had the Green Dragon.
Okay.
Shop.
If you wanted to get messed up, did you ever get a Baltimore Zoo there?
Oh yeah, that was another one. Baltimore Zoo.
That was the drink that like I would go if like I just want to have a good night out. It's pretty much like every bit of alcohol. They just pour it in like this drink and throw some Coke in.
Those drinks, those sound fun to me. Like I have never been to Purdue's campus, but I know a handful of people that went to school there. So, you know, y'all are good people there and you sound like you have a good time. I mean, the only other drink I think of that, you know, someone else, it might be their go-to was this place called Wando's, which was like a total kind of, I don't know, I would say a kind of fratty place. And their go-to is just, you know, like a $20 fish bowl. And they'd probably throw like 8 straws in there and it's just a shit ton of vodka and flavor. Yeah. Like you get whatever flavor you want and you just down those and that's like an pretty easy way to get plastered. But
little cactus cups, you take your cup back down to the cactus. But you want to hear a travesty. It's the cactus. I mean, I hope it comes back, but we don't have the cactus.
R.I.P.
Rip to the cactus.
Pour one out for the cactus.
Were there a lot of bars in West Lafayette? Like, or were there like the main ones like you guys mentioned, and then everyone kind of circled through those? Like, how many dives did you have on the periphery?
There was probably like 4 or 5 main ones. You had Harry's, you had Cactus. And the thing is like, and it might've been different at Wisconsin. Like you could go to any of these bars, but like one night a week, it was like, okay, if you're doing anything, you're going to the Cactus. Like on game days, Breakfast Club, you go to Cactus.
Yeah.
After the game, you go to Harry's. After a basketball game, everyone's going to Harry's.
Okay.
You know, if you wanted to get a little, you know, freaky with your friends, maybe pick up some girls, Thursday, Friday night, you had to go to where else? That's where everyone was going. Where else? I'm gonna date myself here. Dukes, did you go to the old where else? Did you ever go to that one, or you only been to the new one?
They moved. Okay, yeah. So you have the one road where they were all on. There's also Jake's there down on the end.
Yep.
Got to shout out Jake's Roadhouse. And,
how could I forget?
Yeah, and so Harry's, then where else was right there, and then Jake's, but then they moved down closer, like on the way down to the Cactus.
So and Andrew made me think of this when he was talking about like this kind of drinks. Where else on Mondays you could get hams for a quarter? A can of hams for a quarter.
That's perfect.
Literally, you could throw down $1 and get 4 beers, and that's how nights got really squirrely. Is you starting off at where else on a Monday?
That's awesome. Well, like I said, I've got the bottle of Maker's Mark here, so I'm going to pour myself a shot. Michael Duncan asked, "What is a Boilermaker?" Helping out our audience here. A Boilermaker essentially is just a shot of whiskey thrown into a glass of beer, and you either chug it or I don't think you're supposed to sip it. So I'm not going to do that from all of my research today. But I know you got the bullet, Steve. Are you doing any whiskey tonight, Adam, or you keeping it clean?
I mean, I can go get some.
If you want to get some,
right.
You can.
Fuck.
I think.
Peer pressure. I'll be right back.
It's all good, man. This is quality broadcasting. I did tell Steve as we were talking about this, like, are we planning on just dunking it and drinking it? But I don't want to make a mess at my desk here. So I think I'll just be taking and chasing.
I have pretty much the proper containers that I could do something like that. But I was also thinking, do I want to do this right now? You know, I do have to work in the morning. I was thinking probably take the shot and then I'll sip the beer the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's my plan too. Jeff is saying, go big or go home. I think that's our friend Brad Wire, the O-line guy, O-line specialist, really. But
well, if it does matter to someone, I'm 100% willing to drop it in and take a true Boilermaker. I mean,
you've got the equipment. I've got like my shot glass. I've got my pint glass. I'm gonna keep it neat. And that's probably all we'll have for the stream, or all I'll have for the stream. Someone's got to stay at the table here. But like we said, we talked a little bit about Purdue. I love hearing those types of stories about the campus. One of my best friends who went to Purdue, he actually met his girlfriend, or now fiance, at the Taco Bell on campus. So he's a bit younger than me, but I'm sure you guys know that Taco Bell and some of the chaos that ensued there.
Yeah, it was right by where else? The new where else. Yep.
That's where
Duke
a lot
glasses
of
swag
shame-
always off the charts.
Yeah.
Adam, were you saying a lot of
Those are
shameful
out.
things happen there?
No, that's where you get a lot of shame meals at that Taco Bell. Is after
Oh,
you
yeah.
fucked
Well,
up. Yeah.
At this point, I feel like every Taco Bell meal is a shame meal. But like I said, we're gonna hit these Boilermakers. We're going to then move into pro day talk, and then we'll cycle on back through Purdue and talk about some other things. So, cheers, boys! Thank you guys for coming on the stream. You can see a little Bucky Badger in the background of the shot glass.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and do this thing. For real.
Yeah, let's have a good one. Go for it.
All right, cheers, guys.
Do it. Ooh, a little drippage.
I think I heard the glass like clunk in the barrel or whatever, huh?
Oh yeah, it's tough to get that done without a little drippage.
The last
how you
Boilermaker
go
I
for it.
had,
Yeah.
like
That's a fun deal.
maybe it was just because I was buzzed the first time I did a legit one at a bar, like threw it down, but you could feel like the warmth and like the caramely whiskey kind of mixing in with the beer as you chug it. I'm like, oh, this is like the
Surprisingly
perfect mix.
good. Like it just reminded me now, and Miller Lite's a good way to go, and then a good whiskey because
Yeah, it's like you've got like the
overpowering flavor with the beer, but you kind of just you get like a tamed down whiskey, nice mixed flavor. It's not bad.
the last time I did one was like at a tailgate for a Badger football game, and the whiskey was so bad that like and it was so cold out with the beer too that I couldn't even finish it. I'm like, oh no, couldn't get it in one go. There is a video out there where I am just not having a good time. But anyways, guys, we got a month until the NFL draft. I can't believe we're already in like what I feel is a witching hour for the draft. The hype has been real for the last couple of months, and we keep seeing these pro day performances coming out in lieu of the combine. We are overanalyzing each of these different statistics. Have you guys been following this like day in and day out? Or are you just following your boy Rondale Moore and now you're done? Or where's you guys levels at with this? Because I feel very removed from it, to be honest.
Yeah, so personally, I don't invest too much in it, but I do really want guys to check boxes. And if they can do that in a big way, that's just a little better even. So, for example, Rondale Moore or Jamar Chase, they both just blew it out of the water, right? Or a guy like Kyle Pitts. So you love to see that. You already saw it on film. Now you just have another reason to believe in this guy, right? So that's all I'm really doing this time of year. I do pay attention. Kyle has at KL Fantasy has a great tool up on the website right now where you can just scroll through and see what's happening day to day. So
yeah, I need to peruse that tool, and I'm actually going to use that if we do any pro day guessing game here. Because I'm excited to see if there's any players that, whose metrics have really stood out to you guys. Kyle Pitts, obviously one that everyone's talking about. I think all of fantasy football Twitter is already on this idea that, he's totally can't even be compared to any tight end because he's just essentially the build of a wide receiver. Is that how we're viewing him now? Is there any chance he actually lines up as a tight end in the NFL at this point?
I mean, yeah.
But Adam,
I'll let you go. I'll let you go, Dukes.
No, you take this one.
I mean, I think he's gonna. It'd be crazy if it would probably mess up a lot of rookie drafts too. If for some reason some team drafted him and when they announced the pick, they say wide receiver Kyle Pitts. Like I think everyone would lose their mind. I think that's possible that could happen. You know what I mean? He's certainly profiling as that, but he's going to be such a advantage in your fantasy football lineups, lining up at tight end with the skill set that he has.
Yeah, I love him. I just think, maybe he will break that mold of tight ends taking a while to develop in the NFL because he's not built like other tight ends. I think that's an interesting thing to think about because if he is like all other tight ends, then I actually am not a huge fan of drafting him so early. I'd rather trade for him later in dynasty leagues. But if he's, if we're supposed to be actually comparing him to wide receivers in terms of projecting his success, a la like, not to make any crazy comparisons hard and fast, but Calvin Johnson has been thrown around as a name. So I'm curious to see like if he ends up just lining up not as designated as a tight end a lot. Because I don't know much about his blocking prowess, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he will be used a lot in line. He's definitely going to be a move guy, but you could have him, say, stack tight ends on one side. He's the outside tight end, and you run a stretch that way. I think he's capable of doing enough there that you can get some RPO in there and do some nice things with him that way. But I think that the right team's going to get creative with him. I don't look at it like I should fade him if he's called one position or the other. I think just the right situation is going to use him in the right way.
For sure. And I've got a handful of other pass catchers I'd love to talk about with you guys. I think Rashad Bateman had his pro day today. There's been some talk about, his weight being down because of COVID. Obviously, Rondale Moore, a guy who gets thrown in with Devontae Smith and maybe even Jamar Chase in the BMI Twitter conversations. And I have a pretty good idea of how Adam feels about that. But, outside of all those guys, like where you could argue that they're undersized, they're still far and away like, those three probably. And I like Bateman a lot, but the top three most talented wide receivers, maybe top four if you count Bateman. Are there any other guys that, stood out for you?
I mean, not for me. I try not to get too cute with some of those rankings. Like, I think for the wide receivers, like there's a clear cut 5 for me. And I know it's debatable, like if Devonta Smith is in that 5 for a lot of people. I don't even use the Heisman argument. I mean, granted, it was without Waddle for most of the year. What he did this year, I mean, was incredible. I watched a lot more of him, like most people did, in that college football playoff, and everyone knew Devonta Smith was going to get the ball, and no one could stop him. And yeah, Alabama schemed up a lot of ways for him to get the ball, but that's part of his skill set. I mean, somebody could easily do that for him in the NFL. They've got some of the best play callers in the country. So for me, it's mostly those guys. And I don't worry about their pro day numbers for those big guys. I like, looking at the pro day numbers for some of those smaller guys as maybe a way to move the needle and find out how fast or how athletic some of these other guys are. But for the top guys, for Najee Harris, for Travis Etienne, do they run a 4.4, 5, or it doesn't really matter to me.
So if I was to just throw a couple names out there that I don't think so I would agree that there is that 5 that in any order, I don't really mind. Jamar Chase, though, to me is kind of a slight tier above. But after that, I think Terrace Marshall really solidified his self as probably an early second round, possibly type of guy in that mix. And Elijah Moore as well is another guy that I think the more that I look into him, the more I like there. I think those two are your next two. And then throw around guys like Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and De'Ami Brown and some of those kind of names. But I think the next two for me are Terrace Marshall and Elijah Moore.
Gotcha. Yeah, Dave thinks the same. He's got Tyler Wallace in there too.
Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, just on the stuff that I've been reading and hearing, I think Elijah Moore maybe sneaks into that top 5 because I think he honestly could be a first-round pick. Like I'm seeing a lot of teams that are saying that he's their wide receiver 1 in this class, which just seems like crazy to think about. But a lot of people like his route running and some of his attributes. So of those guys, that's the one I could see maybe sneaking in just on draft capital, because I think when it's all said and done, kind of like a Brandon Ayuk did last year, where people were like unsure about him, and then he went in the first round, and that totally changed people's point of view of him. I think that you could potentially see that with Elijah Moore. Like if Green Bay or New Orleans takes Elijah Moore in the first round, I think people would be freaking out about that.
Well, we'll see if Green Bay takes a wide receiver. always on the edge of my seat about that. But with these wide receivers, I think the draft capital, like you said, is one of the biggest things to keep track of it. And it's so tough. Like, obviously we love to always have something to talk about, and pro days are a big part of that right now. It would be the combine otherwise. I think it annoys me only to the degree of me being a contrarian at heart, that it's such a middle of the road take. But just waiting until we see landing spot and draft capital is such a huge pendulum swinger for a lot of these guys. And because we obviously should be trusting the opinions of the people actually selecting these players versus, what numbers they might put on a chart. Because I think they're paid way more. It's way out of my pay grade. I know that much. So I think that's a good point there, Adam.
That's something that you have to bring up, because people, a lot of people on Twitter, it gets talked about on Twitter that, a lot of people have maybe this idea that they know maybe a little more, but really, credentials is what I want to know. Like, there are people that get paid a lot of money to make these decisions, and I don't consider myself an expert. I think that, stay water. It's been said on some other Undroppables podcasts, but that's the most important thing you can do right now. Just pay attention to what's happening. Don't get take lock. Don't think that you have it all figured out. Like, these GMs really have an important say in how
it's day in and day out for them. Like, I know every sorry, Adam, but every Bears fan can say like Ryan Pace is an idiot, but I think that toe to toe, like, who's going to evaluate Elijah Moore better, Ryan Pace or me? I'm probably going to put my money on Ryan Pace.
I've seen Ryan Pace at work. I would bet on you, Andrew.
I appreciate that.
I
don't want to stay on
Ryan Grigson. I would.
Yeah. I don't want to stay on this too long, because I know we got other things we're going to talk about. But that's the one thing that makes me nervous about Rondale Moore, is because he's 5'7". I could see him just getting pushed down, and like, that's the one that makes me nervous. Like, he's the most landing spot dependent wide receiver in this class, in my opinion, because I think you have to scheme ways for him. He can be really electric with the ball, and he can do a lot of good things, but you have to say in every game, like, these are going to be the 5 plays that we're giving Rondale to at least get him the ball. He can get open on other plays, but we're going to get these 5 plays for Rondale every game.
But you guys love him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I 100% agree with what he's saying there, because he can be used as a running back, as a wing back, and just put him in motion, do different things with him that way. Like, his height is in some ways a restriction. You have to consider, like, if he's going to be up against a tall, fast corner on the outside, he's probably not going to win a fade. So, but like Adam said, if his draft cap's not there, then you worry, what are the other wide receivers on this roster? Like, you just start to worry then about touches. So,
yeah,
everything else, though, what he can do when he has the ball in his hands is absolutely electric. I can't stop talking about him. He's in my header, and everybody brings him up every time I talk to him. So
wanted to get the Rondale Moore love fest going. So go for it, Adam.
Well, he has no real comps. That's the issue. Is like, he's definitely an outlier. He's going to be an outlier, and that can make him a risky pick in your rookie drafts. So as a homer, like, I do acknowledge that. I'm definitely still going to take him early. Like, if you play in a league with me, I'm going to take him over you guys. And I'm interested to see, because Dukes and I are in a couple leagues together, and I'm like, in all my leagues, I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, okay, can he trade up to get in front of me? I'm like looking at these things, because I'm like, he's not going to come back out of the first round. He will not make it out of the first round in leagues that we're in. But he has this immense ceiling, and he could be a gadget player. Yeah. And he can do a lot of cool things that will get you fantasy football points, like a Curtis Samuel. But I also think he could be an elite PPR slot wide receiver, like a Julian Edelman plus on steroids, literally, when Julian Edelman was on steroids, like a plus on that. that he could have just a safe PPR floor with a high ceiling of, busting off a bunch of 20-point performances for you?
Well, since you guys love Rondale Moore so much, I had our boy Don Mega put together a little highlight reel for you boys just to get a little showcase of what he's like. Let's watch that. Where did Dukes go? You didn't want to sit there and watch your boy Jonathan Taylor just tear up opposing defenses for Wisconsin?
Yeah, but you don't introduce me to Purdue highlights and then show me that. Okay?
Hey,
you messed up. There was that play in there. I was waiting for it when was it like triple overtime Purdue? We had you guys at West Lafayette and JT ran in the game-winning touchdown. Do you remember that, Dukes? That's the highlight you needed in there. Your boy messed up. That was the one I was waiting for. That was really going to hurt me.
Well,
it was like 2019, I think.
I know you guys love JT. I really did it out of love, but that was my April Fool's Day fake out for you guys. So put that together. And,
well done.
if JT balls out like we expect him to next year, and I know you're a Colts fan, Duke, so you're going to love JT in the pros. If he continues to ball out, that clip will come back. I promise you that.
Oh, man, right. I've been a fan of JT. He actually, so I'll touch on this. I think he and Rondale have one thing in common that a lot of players obviously have this quality, but their work ethic is like, they just amaze me as individuals. Very committed, definitely not the type to ever be caught doing anything that's not in line with being the best at their position.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. Should we move into talking about some dynasty trades, or do you guys want to do a little pro day guessing game on numbers? I'll leave that up to you guys if you feel like you got the knowledge for it.
Adam didn't have time to research. I think I will win if we do it, but I do kind of want to see how many I can get right.
Okay, I'm just going to pull from the article that Kyle has on our website, the undroppables.com. We'll just do a few for shits and giggles. We'll see, who I can find in here that's already done some combine things. Like Kyle, I didn't realize Kyle is going all out with this. He has guys in here for IDP purposes as well. Offensive linemen, obviously the skill position guys. I'm trying to think up of a guy here and see if he's already popped up, because I have not kept track of who is all done their pro day. Let's try this one. Okay. I will just start listing off things that pop up in here and see if you guys know it. So this one doesn't help because he didn't do agility drills or a 40-yard dash. But since I'm looking at it, okay, this player is 6'3", 224. His hand size is 9 3/4 inches. His arm length is 31.5 inches. His wingspan, 76 3/4 inches. This is a quarterback who did not perform agility drills or a 40-yard dash.
Zach Wilson.
Trey Lance.
It was Trey Lance. point for Dukes.
That was a total guess. I don't know their sizes. That was just a guess because I know he didn't do any drills.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, I got a real one here. This is a running back, so I'll tell you that from the beginning. All right, his vertical is 31.5 inches. Broad jump, 112 inches. bench press 15 reps, 40-yard dash 4.63, 20-yard shuttle 4.47.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Cone. There you go, Adam.
Yeah,
wow.
Point for Adam.
I just know because that was slowish. That is stinky.
Yeah, he's not a burner.
As soon as that starts stinking, you're like Ramondre.
Yep.
That
vertical is not very
burner,
impressive either. I mean, I'm not gonna like sit on here and diss the guy because my vertical is probably like 12 inches. So, but 31 inches is kind of underwhelming too.
Yeah, a few inches under what I would think is average, and then just everything's a little under average. You don't want to see that.
I think we're still waiting for some of these numbers to come in, but I think here we can do this one. We'll do a wide receiver this time. Vertical jump 32.5 inches, broad jump 126 inches, bench press 15 reps, 4.44 40-yard dash, 4.53 20-yard shuttle, 7-second 3 cone.
Amari Rodgers.
Incorrect.
Rashad Bateman.
Also incorrect. This I'll give you guys one more guess. He's 6'2.5" and 207 pounds. All right, that's time. That's too much dead air.
Terrace Marshall. Marshall.
No. First off, his name's Terrace Marshall.
Terrace was
Terrace. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But that's not, it was Tamori and Terry. So
okay, that wasn't bad numbers. But Terrace Marshall was he was a little tier above that.
Funny enough, I went to go see what numbers we had for Amari Rodgers, and like his 40 isn't in there, but his bench press was 24 reps, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Compared to these other guys.
Have you guys seen Terrace Marshall? The other one, the Terrence. He's under the radar.
There is one.
I'm just
there's Adam's April Fool's Day joke. Terrace Marshall.
Twice.
All right, I think that was kind of fun, but we've got Purdue trivia for later too, which I want to get to. So we'll jump to that at the end of the show. Let's move into some Dynasty trades. And let me see here. Let me see. I'll start off with the one that I did yesterday and tweeted just to get things kicked off here. Someone sent this to me and I was like, how do I not accept this? I send Darrell Henderson, and I received the 309 and the 310 in this year's draft. And maybe I just have pick fever, but I don't really see a lot of value in holding Darrell Henderson right now. I'd rather find like another Terry McLaurin type in the draft.
Yeah. So now I really want to pull up a mock rookie draft so I can see who's
I've got one
around that pick. But I want to say that you can almost get an Amari Rodgers in that range.
Let me pull up
probably package them and move up and get him.
Oh my God. Can y'all see this?
I would much rather have Amari Rodgers than Darrell Henderson. I don't think Darrell Henderson has a whole lot of value unless Cam Akers goes down. I think Cam Akers is clearly going to be the
Can y'all see this shitty screen share right now?
I see it, yeah.
So this is a mock draft we actually did with some guys over at Toilets to Titles, and I'm going to be talking about that this weekend with some guys over there and Michael Duncan. 3.9 and 3.10. You got Kyle Trask in a super flex and Trey Sermon. This league is for 1 QB, so I'm sure some of these other guys will actually not be available because the quarterbacks. I mean, maybe I could get one of these quarterbacks, but
yeah, so
Ramondre Stevenson, Seth Williams.
The trade-off is upside, right? And you have 2 shots. You're taking 2 shots, and you're giving up a guy who already has given up his upside.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking now, I remember I've got Watson in that league, so I might need to take a shot on a quarterback if they fall that far. If one of these like Mac Jones or Zach Wilson guys do. Yeah, I love it. And I love the potential for me to trade up as well. So I know, Dukes, did you put the second one in here? Being able to send a player for player?
Yeah, I did. I threw a couple in here that were leagues where I was QB needy because I know sometimes it's really hard to even feel like you can compete if you're super thin at quarterback, and especially if you have Watson on it. Like one team, I had a Watson on a team, so I went ahead and just sent Antonio Brown straight up for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think they're both at a similar stage in their career where you can kind of see the horizon, but the need at quarterback was so great, and Fitzpatrick could have a really good year. You know, Washington might take a quarterback, but that doesn't mean he's going to start. It might be a guy in the second round. You know, it. So, for me, just having a little more stability at the quarterback position makes that worth it because wide receiver, a lot of teams already have wide receiver depth, and you know, Antonio Brown obviously still has a lot of juice left, but I think just to have that stability is great. And then the second trade, I don't know if I'll just get into it.
Sure.
Gave up Drew Lock and McCole Hardman. I got back Cam Newton, Nyheim Hines, and Gerald Everett. So this one was more like quarterback for quarterback swap. I think he wanted to get younger, but these two guys, Nyheim Hines, he was the RB15 in PPR last year. People don't realize how effective he was. And he's going to continue to be. He is still fairly young, and he's gotten better every year. I think the Colts like him a lot, and they're going to keep giving him opportunities. And then Gerald Everett, who just moved to the Seahawks, who are known for making tight ends better than they are.
Yeah, I love these trades. I think that first one, I don't know if you said it was based off need, but you can basically, I mean, getting a quarterback for a wide receiver that's not going to be around much longer is usually good, especially you said that is super flex or it's.
Yeah, these are both super flex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like it even more then because the more quarterbacks you can have that start in the league, the better off you are. And then that second one, or the third trade we're talking about, I have a sneaking suspicion like it's very well within the range of possibilities that Drew Lock and Mecole Hardman are out of a job by the end of next season. Like they're going to get some more shots, but not completely out of a job, but hardly even relevant for his fantasy. Like Drew Lock could be backing up someone. Mecole Hardman could be seeing 20% snap share or something. But Nyheim Hines, like he does a lot with his snap share. Like you said, he is awesome in terms of efficiency and just scoring. So I think that's a good piece in there. And I'm not ready to give up on Gerald Everett yet either. So I like that. You may have even gotten an upgrade at quarterback, at least in the short term.
Yeah, we talk about win now moves. This was a win now move for me in that league. I just thought Cam had a lot more upside this year with the new cast around him, and the other two guys are going to be very useful depth. So,
yeah, I think that's super sharp. Any other comments on this, Adam?
I like those trades. I like the Antonio Brown Fitzpatrick one too. I'm assuming that's super flex. I like that move.
All right. I know. So those are our trades for the week, guys. I have another section in here, which we kind of touched at on the top, but college memories, since you guys are Purdue guys, I know I clowned on you a little bit with the JT video, but since you guys are in the room and we've been talking about these college prospects, Purdue life, just taking some time to reflect. Anything, I was just curious, like, which is why I put this in here. Like, do you guys have favorite sports moments that just stick in your mind, separate from going to the bars after the games?
Yeah, well, for me, man, I have like it stinks, but a lot of memories that are coming up, at least football related, are just bad memories. I mean, the last time we were really good, top 5, Kyle Orton, that team was pretty good, and we were playing Wisconsin, and he fumbled. I don't know if would you remember this game? This was quite a while ago, but
not I.
Yeah. Favorite sports moments at Purdue, though, basketball related, definitely. Carson Edwards, man, Yeah, we've had some good times in recent years.
Was Robbie Hummel within your guys' tenure at Purdue?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think he was within everyone. So like that's the guy that will always stick in my mind. Like, do you equate him to kind of like an Aaron Kraft type because he was just around for so long, or is he like not? Is that not a good comp?
He's a guy to me that if he could have stayed healthy his entire college career, would have been possibly a lottery pick and have like a solid role on NBA. His intelligence, and he could shoot just so well. And he used to move his first couple years at Purdue. He moved really well. Robbie is like, I don't know. People probably don't know this, but we were so blessed, Adam, and I know Adam knows this, but the 3 studs on that team, Robbie, Etwan, and Juwan, are all top 10 Purdue scorers of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big Robbie fan because he grew up in the same area that I kind of grew up around in Northwest Indiana. And it could have been a big 4 recruits that year because Robbie Hummel's high school teammate from Valparaiso, Scott Martin, was a highly recruited freshman, but they had such an influx of talent that year. And I think a lot of it honestly had to do with Indiana was struggling. They had just hired Calvin Sampson, and there was a lot of uncertainty around that program. So Purdue got a big jump on Indiana in recruiting and had been going after these guys for a long time and established some good relationships. So they got, I think, besides Eric, it was Eric Gordon was the number 1 recruit in that class, and he went to IU. But then the next 5 Purdue got in that class, and they were not just like the best players in the state, but they were some of the best players in the country. A very highly recruited class. So yeah, I mean, Robbie. What was nice about when you'd watch Purdue games with Robbie Hummel is there would be a 5-minute stretch where Rob would just go nuclear, and that would be enough. Like in college basketball, it's about runs. And you just knew you were going to get a 5-minute stretch of like Rob rebounding, Rob making a really good pass, Rob scoring like 6 or 7 points real quick, and getting you over the hump. If we're talking about memories, this is a bad memory too. My freshman year, Robbie Hummel was coming off the ACL tear. Walking around friends with campus, I saw Rob Hummel like jogging on campus, and he was looking good, he was looking fit, and everyone was like, "Hey, go Rob!" Yeah. Purdue the next night has their first football game on Saturday. Friday night, I'm watching ESPN, and Purdue is ranked number 1 in the country in men's college basketball. They interview Rob Hummel, and at the end of that interview, Rob's like, "Yeah, we're having a night practice, getting ready for the season." That night, he retore his ACL. We got news of it at the football game, like right after kickoff.
No.
And the text circulated through the stadium, and people were so depressed and pissed off.
Damn.
Me and my buddies left 5 minutes in the game. We're like, "Fuck, this is terrible."
Did you just go and drink then, or like what was your recourse?
We didn't even care. We just like it totally sucked the air out of the stadium. I think Purdue lost to like Central Michigan in football in that game too. Like it was such a bad day. But I remember that vividly. That was
like the worst day. But to put it all in perspective, so those 3 players got to play in a tournament together, all together. How many times? Once or twice?
Whoa! One tournament. One tournament their freshman year.
Although, like easily, they were the type of team to win a tournament too because they were they had so many ways to do it. You know.
Yeah. That hurts. It hurts still.
That's so sad, Purdue. But
if we want an uplifting memory, this is after I graduated. I was at the Purdue-Ohio State game when Purdue beat Ohio State and Rondale Moore like put his name on the national stage. I was sitting literally probably 16 rows back, that play that they always play when he's playing Ohio State where he breaks off the sideline. And I still to this day, I can picture it. I'm thinking, I don't know how he didn't go down. Like he literally ran through the guy, probably because he's 5'7", he's so low to the ground. It should be used as a plus. They couldn't even tackle him. They just came over the top and then he just kept going. I'll never forget that game. That game was awesome.
Yeah. So I was not there, but that's because my dad is a really big Ohio State fan. and he doesn't go to games. He likes to watch from home. He's a weirdo.
He's a little stitious.
Yeah, so I actually watched that game with him at his house, and he used to always tell me how important it was to have balance in football and be low to the ground. So when we saw that play together, he jumped up. Like, he was excited, but it happened against his team, and he said, "You guys have a great player." And I was like,
yeah,
we do. Like, he's just a guy that respects, like, he loves
yeah.
football. So that got him excited, and he likes Purdue too, obviously, because actually all his kids went there. But
well, that's good.
Yeah, he was born in Columbus, so I grew up actually liking Ohio State. But
that's fine. I have an uncle that worked for Michigan for like his entire career. So there's pictures of me out there like 7th grade going to the big house, and that changed once you pick your school of choice. So there's definitely no shortage of heartbreak in the Big Ten. Like, and I can't complain. I think that Wisconsin has had some highs, obviously, like being there the years I was like Russell Wilson. The Russell Wilson year was my freshman year. And then my senior years were, I was like front row or second row for like this random game where Kaminsky dropped like 50 points. He had a 50-point game. I remember that pretty vividly. There's a Ben Brust like game tying half court shot against Michigan, sends it to overtime, win in overtime, that I actually wasn't at, because I was doing like a polar plunge charity event, and I'll never live that down. But then them going to the Final Four in back-to-back years, obviously, is a huge memory too. So those are some of my best memories, but they hardly outweigh the bad ones, because we're all so pessimistic in fantasy sports and everything. Like the one I'll just say one that sticks out is Wisconsin football, like premier non-conference game, probably my junior year against Arizona State. And they tried to run like a kneel down to then like position the kicker for like the game-winning field goal. And some guy on ASU covers the ball. They're trying to spike it. The clock expires. The refs are basically just sitting there with their hands under their ass. And the game was over. Like it's the most bizarre ending I've seen to a game. And we started the season 0-1. It's like, well, no chance at any, BCS college football playoff, nothing.
Isn't that crazy how college football is, man? That's what makes college football special is stuff like that. Just one tiny moment. That's your season.
Yeah. It was so depressing. Oh my gosh. Was I there for Brian Butch, Brad? No, I was not. I remember Brian Butch, but I think like Mike Bruzewitz was a senior when I was a freshman. So that might give you a little more. My favorite. So, who is your guys' favorite basketball player for the people that know Purdue rosters out there? Who is probably the favorite player you loved watching while you were in college? Was it Hummel?
Yeah,
mine's Carson.
E'Twaun Moore. Well, yeah, Carson Edwards, like later on, especially because he was there pretty much doing it by himself. And that's something we didn't see before.
Yeah. There was never any like superstar doing it by himself at Wisconsin, but the guy that maybe this is, for Brad, 'cause I think he went to school in Wisconsin. Jared Berggren was my guy, because he would always get like the garbage time rebounds or garbage, the garbage man. He's picking up the trash. He's putting it back in at the dumpster. And he was kind of a stretch guy too. Like he could hit the threes from deep. So, you see that so much more in the NBA now, is like the big stretch fives, like bigs that can shoot threes. So I love that he was able to do that for us. Obviously, Wisconsin's
I really love
big.
E'Twaun, and he of anybody in recent years. I mean, you can go back to Glenn Robinson, but E'Twaun has had the most successful basketball career over the course, like his pro career. He's been really good. I know he was with the Pelicans for a long. I don't know if he's still with the Pelicans, but
he's with the Suns. The Suns now, Phoenix.
Yeah, I was going to say, E'Twaun Moore, I might have heard that name. He might have a Top Shot out there or something.
Probably splash
might
in the
actually.
tree. Yeah, or a pull.
I think he might. I told a friend that if you gave me like just quiz me on names and I'll tell you yes or no if they have a top shot, like I feel like I'd be pretty good at it. But there's there's more and more always coming. So I don't know if I could do every player. I don't know if I get each one more right or not. But speaking of quizzing people, I've got some Purdue trivia for you guys. I don't know if you've seen some of the previous episodes, but we do 9 questions. I try to make them progressively harder as we go. And of course, I'm going to have my audio assistant here, aka my iPhone, sounding off the ham horn or the sad trombone, based on whether you guys get it right or wrong. I am fine with you guys working together on this one if you guys are cool with that. Otherwise, y'all can alternate questions.
We can bowl her up.
Let's do it.
We're gonna bowl her up.
All right. We'll keep this. I think pretty quick. I think, again, easy to start because I think finding Purdue trivia was a task for even myself of like what types of questions to ask and not make it like too oddly specific. But question number 1, what is the name of the Purdue fight song?
Hail Purdue.
Yep.
Is this going to work for me? God damn it. There you go. That one's right. We'll move right on into the next one. And I swear this is the only one that's like a dig at you guys. What team did Purdue lose to in this year's NCAA tournament?
I'm not answering that.
I mean, if you want to get it right, one of y'all has to give me a final answer.
We're still playing. We're undefeated.
Anything, Steve?
What the?
Oh, okay. Oh, I heard that. That's correct. North Texas. All right. I swear that's the only one like that. I did that to Justin too about his Cowboys and his Sooners, or his Cowboys specifically. So, question number 3: what year was Purdue University founded?
Do you know?
1907, I think. Was it?
I thought it was in the 1800s, but
I think it's 1807 then. Yeah, it's 1807, isn't it? Something like that.
Is that your final answer?
1807. Oh.
From my research, it's 1869. Nice. So
Nice.
1800s, you're right. But I think that's when they got the land grant. I could be wrong. Like, anyone wants to check me on this, if you guys want to make sure you get the right score.
History buff. I don't know what was going on in 1807. I guess
I mean, that is
lay those bricks yet.
Yeah. That's way back when. I might get the Wisconsin one wrong on that too.
It was a twinkle in John Purdue's eye in 1807 when he had.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 4. What is the name of the official mascot of Purdue University?
Oh, the official.
We're talking about the guy with the hammer.
No, I think this is the Boilermaker.
This is a trick question.
It's got to be the Boilermaker Special, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Boilermaker Special.
It is the Boilermaker Special. I made sure to, not try to trick you guys too hard by accentuating.
That was a tricky.
Official.
It was
official.
A tricky one.
So it's like I know they're going to know Purdue Pete, so let me give them something about the official mascot, the train. The Boilermaker Special.
Good call, Adam.
I'm curious. Do you guys know what number is on it? Because I saw a photo that had the number, like that's on the front, and I almost asked you guys that. Well, funny enough, it's a 7, but I wasn't going to ask you that because I thought that'd be too hard. Okay, question number 5: which building remains from the original 6-building campus?
Oh. I can picture it too. I think it's like it's like red. It was across from I can't even remember these places. I went
Memorial though.
Yeah, it's across from Memorial in that same U shape.
Is it called University Hall?
It might be.
That was one of those there. It could be that. That one looked really old. University.
Yeah. Let's go with it.
University Hall. Good poll, Steve. Good poll. All right. I'm going to keep on rolling. Number 6. We're getting a little more sport oriented here, so hopefully that helps you guys out. Number 6. What is the name of the rivalry trophy the Purdue football team competes for with the Indiana Hoosiers dating back to 1891?
Wait,
the old Oaken Bucket.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, the old Oaken Bucket. Oh, okay.
I missed the first part of the question. It was because of this thing earlier.
No worries. Adam got it right. Congratulations on that correct question. You guys have 3 questions left, and you've only gotten 1 wrong, so you're doing pretty well here. I think you're doing better than a lot of other folks here, but these 2 questions might be a little bit harder. They're a little more historical. The first one should be easier than the next. Question number 7. Who was the last Purdue wide receiver to be drafted in the NFL draft? Selected in the 5th round of the 2017 NFL draft.
Oh, I think he went to the Packers. God, what was his name? Oh, it's gonna kill me. Oh man, because I remember him.
Wait.
You got time.
Oh.
We got 1 viewer back for this poll, so I'll reread the question.
His last name?
What? Oh, D'Angelo Yancey.
Yancey.
Yes, good pull, boys. Good pull. I was like, damn, the Packers drafted a receiver back then. Great answer to that question. Okay, this one is a little bit longer in terms of setup. So this is a football question. Purdue, the theme of this question is Boilermakers. Purdue has knocked off the number 1 ranked football team in college football 7 times over the years, the 3rd most of all the Division I teams in college football. Only Notre Dame and Oklahoma have accomplished this more times. The question, who was the last, aka most recent, number 1 ranked team that they defeated?
This is football?
This is football. I'll give you the hint right off the bat. This was back in 1976.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna guess, and this is an official answer. I'll let Dukes think about this. I'm gonna guess it was Notre Dame because that's like someone that would have been ranked number 1 at that time, and Purdue played them pretty much every year.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
Would be either Notre Dame or Michigan.
So what's your final answer?
We'll say Notre Dame just because we both thought of that.
Oh,
unfortunately, the answer is Michigan.
Oh,
that's tough, but that's okay. That I almost kind of set that one up to be a trick question in case one of y'all thought Ohio State, but I looked it up and I'm like, well, they were the number 2 seed when that upset happened. So
I remember.
Yeah, you definitely remember. Okay, I'm going to keep this one.
Ohio State used to be number 1 and 2 all the time, and Notre Dame next 2. Yeah.
No, I mean, it was funny because half of those, like 7, they've beat like 7 different number 1 seeds over the years. Like, I mean, 76 being the most recent. Half of those were when they beat Notre Dame. So you were on the right track too, Adam. I'm going to keep this one. I mean, I can offer bonus points depending on how the first one goes and if you want more. But these are all Rondale Moore themed. So Rondale Moore, 2018 season. How many receptions did Rondale Moore have in his 2018 season?
114.
That sounds right.
114. That is correct.
I'm in here way too deep. I'm too obsessed with this man.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to do the other bonus ones, or do you want to?
Is it gonna be his yards? Because I don't know those.
All right, we'll cut it off at the receptions. I had his yards.
Was it gonna be his yards?
It was gonna be his receiving yards, and then I had his rushing attempts. But that was more in case we did a versus
rushing attempts. Though that'd be a fun number.
24.
What's your guess, Dukes? This will be like a tiebreaker for you two because you both performed admirably. But
yeah, I'm
curious to see
though that I think Adam knows Rondale's numbers better than I do.
I don't.
Whichever gets the rushing attempts closer.
Man.
I'll tweet something out about being the better.
We didn't give him enough carries, but yeah, I think less than 20. I think I'm gonna say 18.
And what did Adam? You said 24.
Yeah.
So wait, how many specifically did you think he got, Dukes?
His freshman year?
Yeah, in 2018. How many rushing attempts?
18.
Okay, you guys tie.
Oh,
At 21 rushing attempts. So that is completely split. Neither of y'all were closer.
I'm going to throw out his receiving yards. I'm just going to guess 1,439.
I mean, of course you're over because you're such a Rondale Moore stan.
I'll guess total yards. I'll guess total yards.
Total yards. I'm going to have to look this up now. I don't have that up.
Would that include return yards?
I don't have his return yards. I could actually
50.
Adam might be Adam might be close if you added receiving and rushing together. What did you say again?
1,439.
1,439. So I'm just literally doing the math. So he had 1,471 total yards, like receiving and rushing.
See, I think you're at a disadvantage. I wrote his rookie draft profile, so I think these numbers were just sunk into my head when I was like looking up this stuff.
I figured you'd get the receptions one for sure, but his receiving yards were 1,258. So
yeah, because he led the NCAA in receptions, right? That year.
That year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people were immediately blown away. I wasn't on Twitter when Rondale Moore was a freshman, so I don't know what the reaction was, but I know what my reaction was. I would imagine everybody was blown away. But in the last year and a half, up until now, people kind of forgot how explosive he was, it seemed like. But now he definitely seems like some people are still fading him. I think that's just them wanting to be different. I think it's pretty clear now that Rondale should be drafted at least late first or early second round. But me and Adam will be taking him earlier than that.
Yeah, of course. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this episode. Draft Rondale Moore. # draft Rondale Moore. Make sure to like this stream. I don't do any of this promo in the middle of the episode, so I'll try to get better at that. But appreciate y'all for watching. At the Undroppables, theundroppables.com. I've been at Andrew Mackens. We've got at Fantasy Duke, Steve in the top right, and at the real Adam _H. Adam Hutchison on the bottom there. Thank you guys for joining. I love this Big Ten Love Fest. Loved having you on and being able to shoot the shit for a little bit while also creating some content. So any last words for you guys?
Yep. Those were my last words.
Should we jump in the clubhouse? Should we jump in the clubhouse? Or you guys got to go? Jump in the clubhouse? Okay. I'm going to put that in the comments too here. Oh, I'm trying to keep these under an hour, but do you want me to rip open a pack? Are we going to rip open a Top Shot pack at the very end?
Let's do it. I want to see it.
Okay. We'll see this. It'll probably end up being shit, but okay. I'm going to type something in the chat first. Clubhouse next.
I'm making bank. I made a couple sales right now. You know what my Dapper balance is? I'm gonna flex right here.
$69.
$785.
Ooh, are you gonna reinvest? You gonna buy the dip or what?
I might. I'm gonna scour a little bit. I put $38 of my own money in here, and that's what I've netted $750 right now.
Wait, really?
Pretty swanky. Yeah.
All I hear in our group chat for Top Shot is that Justin is like paper hands, always ready to sell. And then I hear your story of like you've only put 38 in and you've turned that into 700. That's pretty slick.
30.
You put $30 of your own money and you turn that into that. I mean, that's probably a better ROI than I've had just because I've put way too much money into it.
And honestly, it probably could have been more. I think I held on to my Luka a little too long.
Okay, we're gonna talk about this later. We'll talk about this on the Clubhouse, but I'm gonna try to share my screen so we can rip this pack open that we got earlier today, so we can get some live reactions in here. I'm gonna share the audio, so I'm gonna get this right this time, and we're gonna rip open this pack right away. The last one we did was a good pack. The last pack I got was a good pack too. Can you hear the music this time?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's go. I will let you guys choose.
Middle one's been like the best one, so I would say that one for last.
Okay, so Steve, you want to go left or right?
All right. I don't know anything.
No, we're just opening a pack.
I like to make money though. So all right, I think left. Okay,
we're going left first. Rockets. This okay, Eric Gordon layout.
Ooh, Eric Gordon, aforementioned. By the way,
nice,
I looked up. Etwan,
what is this?
Etwan Moore does not have a top shot moment. I looked it up.
Perfect for the Purdue podcast. All right, so we're gonna go to the right, and then we're gonna go to the middle.
I hope I'm right about that.
The Maverick. Is it a Luka? Dwight Powell. Okay. I like the serial though, and it's 4310 out of 12,000. So that would be his first moment on the site too. So, I mean, for packs nowadays, I think that's pretty decent. All right. So this middle one, we're hoping for a LeBron. We're hoping for an all-star. We're hoping for a rookie. If we get a LaMelo Ball, that would be like literally almost not literally 1 in a million, but let's go. We're going to do it right now. Open up this middle one.
Hornets.
Hornets. Oh, got it.
Cody.
Another Hoosier.
Another Hoosier.
I love it.
That's
honestly,
like a jinx.
I almost paid for one of these Zellers, so I'm glad that I got one in a pack because he dunks over Giannis. Like this moment's been all over people's pack drop videos, but I mean, dude, he's dunking over Giannis. That's one to add to the collection.
So
I'm all
glad
for
you're
it.
Happy, but I cannot believe that I was just a part of opening up this pack.
Hey man, you got to be a part of the experience. It's interesting that this is like the square. That was weird. Like I haven't seen that square highlight like this. Usually you only see it in the mobile phone format, but I'm probably overanalyzing it now.
Good dunk.
Oh yeah. Dunking over Giannis, you can't complain about that. Got a pre-order pack coming soon. My last, I feel like I can't complain at this point. So, well, that's a pack opening. We can talk about it more on Clubhouse, but I do want to get out of here. Keep it under an hour 10. Again, thank you guys. We did the promo. Appreciate you guys coming on, and we will see you guys next